It's all the above, best believe we do it better. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. I want the fame, the fortune, all the above. I want the checks, the moolah, all the above. From Philadelphia to New York, all the above. Man, tell them other stations they don't do it like us. What up?
Hello, guys. Welcome to a special segment of All of the Above, where we have a virtual interview with actress Miriam Hyman and also lyricist Robyn Hood. So we got a double whammy here. How are you?
I'm good, sis. No complaints. How you feeling?
Feeling good. Thank you again for joining us. Obviously, we are on different coasts right now, so we made it work.
Most definitely. Thank you for your patience and thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you.
Of course. Are you ready to start this interview?
Yeah, let's get it popping.
All right. So what inspired you to pursue a career in the entertainment industry?
Well, initially, as a kid, I got inspired to act by seeing a film. And it was something about just like that particular type of like work. Initially, I wanted to be a brain surgeon. So I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't thinking about like, entertainment in any way, shape, or form. But I saw Jada Pinkett and a Low Down Dirty Shame, and I was like, whoa, that's what I want to do. And I've been doing that for the rest of my life. I mean, it put me on a path to really get specific about what I wanted to do, how I wanted to affect change, make money in the world, be an inspiration to other young Black women the way that she was, for myself. And then by honing in on that, I was able to just focus on a lot of other different skill sets as well. So I took a lot of dance classes and, from tap to ballet, I've always done hip hop. Yeah. So it just kind of, I just was really super focused on that. And then as the years passed, when I just started to study, a little bit more, I went into graduate school, went to Yale to get my master's in acting. And then when I came out of Yale, that's when I actually started writing music. So I didn't put out my first music project until like 2014. And that was like, coming out of school and then like, me having this shift of, wait a minute, I think I want to play at being a lyricist as well, because these bars just kept coming to me. It was crazy. I was working on a Shakespeare play when I had, came out of school, and I just had time, and it was time and opportunity and space, and the freedom of no longer, kind of being in school and being under like a strict schedule. I'm thankful for my education and like, the process, but, once you're done, it's like, okay, right. Go make me happy. So yeah, I never really intended for that to be the case, but here we are,
Right. First of all, I'm still mind blown. You said brain surgeon. And then
yeah. You're like, I'm still 3 minutes back.
Yeah. But I ain't gonna dwell on that, because that caught me off guard. I said, okay.
I was really fascinated with the brain when I was a kid, just like how it worked, so yeah.
I love that. We're going to tap into your music side first, and then we'll dive into you as an actress. So Obviously you are also known as Robyn Hood in the music industry. How did you develop that stage name? Where did it come from? So,
like I said, when I came out of graduate school, I started playing with this idea of being a lyricist and just writing, creating material. And so I was thinking, I'm like, I got to have a name. I can't be like, I'm Miriam A. Hyman on the mic was good, So I just started thinking of individuals that what their goal, what their mission in life was falling in line with what my goal, what one of my goals are and were. Mm-hmm. And so the name Robyn Hood just kind of came up. It was other things, before that. It wasn't like, oh, Robyn Hood, but I was playing with a lot of different things. And then Robyn Hood, kind of came about, and it just really stuck. And I was like, well, I got to change the I to the Y, and still try to make it authentic, even though a lot of people are immediately going to relate this to, you know, this white guy, you know what I mean, who was running around with this, you know, robe on and or whatever, you know, he was a knight, you know, or whatever. And so I just was like, I want to give back, take from what I've received, and then still give back. So me being able to receive the level of education that I have, it's like, okay, well, how do I hold on to that? Okay, well, I give it away. And then it just, you know, just kind of gets reciprocated, you know, back to me. That's what love, that's what support, that's, you know, with anything. So yeah, the name just kind of stuck. And I was like, yeah, like that's what my ideas were. And so a lot of my material that I was first creating was kind of all about that, like taking from the rich and giving, you know, to the poor, which really is taking from the opportunities in which I've received and being able to help to enrich, you know, educate, motivate, inspire those from my community. So, because I was always like just the one Black girl in the room, you know what I mean? So I'm like, let me take all of these gems and, you know, give it back to my folks. So, yeah.
Well, speaking of giving back to your folks, what kind of message do you like to relay through your music? What do you hope your audience usually gets out of it when they hear Robyn Hood songs?
Yeah, you know, I would say I have this acronym, okay? And so it's HOT, HOT, and it stands for honest, open, truthful. So even with my brand, it's Truth Teller Productions. You know, everything that I talk about is about keeping it hot, keeping it honest. I'm not going to talk about something that I have. I'm not going to be like, oh, you know, my watch is Gucci if it's not. I'm not going to, you know, pretend and just make it seem as if I have, you know, all of this wealth, but really at the end of the day, I'm in debt. My family's in debt. You know, I was like, I'm not going to play into those types of like stereotypes, you know, so I'm going to give people my honest truth. I grew up in Philly. I grew up in the hood, impoverished community, but I ended up, you know, being able to kind of like go a bit beyond that and excelling in different avenues. And, you know, as a Black chick, you know what it is. We have to have multiple focuses, which are going to turn into multiple streams of income, which are going to create generational wealth. So, you know, I just knew it's like, look, I'm 1 of 7. It's nothing but the odds stacked against me, you know, so how can I flip this and really elevate myself to the best of my ability? So within the music, I would say, you know, keep it honest, keep it open, keep it truthful, and be you. You know, don't try to be anybody else or try to appeal to others by making it seem as if, you know, you have something that you don't. It'll come if you keep pushing for it. Mm-hmm. We also don't have to put things up in people's faces and make it seem like, oh, I'm the only one and you can't get this too. It's all achievable. It's all attainable. You know, so I try to get rid of that kind of crabs in the barrel mentality and say, look, let's have an ensemble mentality. Like I reached out to you. I'm like, sis, let's make it happen. You know what I mean? Right. Like it's all love. I said, let me turn this light up a little bit. Okay, cool. So you know, just make sure we get the melanin, you know what I mean? You're glowing.
Fine over here.
You got that beautiful, you know, pregnancy glow. So, you know what I mean?
I be trying to find the right angles now, make sure I don't look too chunky in the face.
You're good. But yeah, so basically, that's pretty much what my focus has been. And I'm hoping, you know, that I'm achieving that. I think that I'm reaching a lot of individuals just based upon those who reach back out to me, you know, and state that the music has been a motivating force for them. I mean, this woman brother, he reached out to me a couple of days ago and said, while he was in the hospital, one of the things that he would listen to, you know, one of the things he would do as a part of his healing process was listen to my music. And he's like, you're just so inspiring and enlightening. And, you know, I just love that spirit. And I was like, wow, you know, dope. That's worth more than any award, any check any stream, anything. The mere fact that this helped him in some way, shape, or form is like, hey, mission accomplished, you know? So,
and you do make great music. Like I can attest that my husband is always bumpy in music. I'm like, look at, okay, shout outs.
You gotta put the speaker to your belly, you know what I mean? So they're coming out like, hey, Robyn in the building.
I'll let the baby know what's up already.
Hey, it's in our blood. It really, really is. You know, being a descendant of Phyllis Hyman, you know, who was a great, great singer, you know, out of Philadelphia. And just coming from Philly in general, you know, we have crazy, dope musicians, you know, Music Soul Child and Bilal and Boys to Men and Patti LaBelle, Eve. I mean, Will Smith. It goes on and on and on. Robyn Hood, you know what I mean? It just goes on.
Gotta throw yourself in there.
I mean, why not? You know?
And you know, speaking of Philly, obviously you are coming back home in August next month for Love on the Line performance. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about that? What can they expect? Where will it be?
Yeah, so speaking of Philly, it's so crazy. One of my first EP that I put out, For Hire, which is available everywhere. FORHIGHER. For Hire, a couple of my tracks were produced by a lovely gentleman and producer out of Philly named Jonas Burvine. So basically, fast forward, you know, Jonas is starting to work on his album, and he reached out to myself and also Common, Chicago native, you know, who happens to be an executive producer on The Shy, but I know we'll get into that.
Right.
But so he reached out to, because he plays a lot for Common, in addition to a lot of other artists. And so he plays for Common, plays the piano and some other instruments as well. But long story short, started working on his album. He wanted to feature a couple of artists that he was familiar with and that maybe some other people were or were not familiar with. So whereas Common has been in the game and doing his thing for a while, you know, I'm making the transition in and people are being extremely receptive, you know. So, you know, he wanted to do this track called Fires in the Street. And so feature myself and Common, and long story short, they have a concert. He has a concert that's going to be coming up where he's featured. So they're bringing me in, you know, to do a couple of, to perform with him and then do some other, you know, numbers as well. So, you never know with me. You might hear some of the new tracks off of my EP, the fourth quarter. You might hear some For Hire, you know, something from, you know, some other, you know, features that I've done and everything. So it's going to be a great time. A lot of dope performers are going to be there. Chrisette Michelle, Chubb Rock, you know, Philadelphia Freeway. Like, they're just bringing in a variety, you know, of people. And it's for the frontline workers, you know, so we're there in support. Yeah, you know, you have to. They're there first, you know, so all respect, you know, goes to them. And so, yeah, we'll be doing it and rocking out for them. So I'm looking forward to it. August 27th in Philadelphia.
Make sure you guys tune in. Be there. If you're in the Philadelphia area, y'all better be in the Philadelphia area because 2 Philly natives in the building. So y'all better be already.
Right.
You already low-key plugged your new EP, the fourth quarter. So, I mean, you might as well go right into it and let us know about the fourth quarter.
Most definitely. So the fourth quarter, I actually recorded over the last 5 months that I was shooting The Shy in Chicago. So a lot of Chicago themes, you know, within the EP, called the fourth quarter, like a basketball quarter. It's exactly 12 minutes. And yeah. You know, so my homeboy Easto, who produced the entire EP, we were talking about names and things like that. And the fourth quarter, for some reason, it just kept coming up because this would be my fourth EP. I'm working on the fourth season, you know, of The Shy, like 444. It just kept coming up. Mm-hmm. So I was like, the fourth quarter, you know, like, after this, I'll probably go and do my album. So why don't we just do it as in like 1, 2, 3, you know, 4. And then also my process was documented while I was recording in Chicago, and they did 4 videos to show my process. So again, that number, you know, just kept coming up. But 4 songs wasn't enough, so I had to do 5. And so the names of the tracks are Nice, which is a motivational track to myself and then also to other individuals like yourself. Then right after that, I have a track called No Looking Back. And that basically is a song that talks about being mindful to what has happened to you in the past, but not allowing that to hold you back in any way. And also not looking back at that, not dwelling on that, but really moving forward. You know, I have another little acronym, KIM, keep it moving. You know, and so it's that thing of there will be things in your life and people in your life that'll try to hold you back, but you know, you gotta move forward. And then 3 other tracks that are on the EP as well: Penthouse, Philly the Shy, and then also Back, featuring my homeboy Easto, who also, like I said, produced the EP. And Philly the Shy features my cousin Air Jordan, who lives in Chicago, but both of our moms are from Philly, and now they live in Chicago. So there's a lot of, like, you know, Chicago to Philly references and everything. So yeah, EP, it's out there. Go get it. You know, it's on all platforms and it's doing really well.
Yes, shout outs to that. Make sure you guys tune into the 4th quarter. And I'm so cheesy. At first, when I thought 4th quarter, it would have been so dope if you like released it in the fall when it's the 4th quarter. Is that too much? I'll be an extra.
I mean, you know, the thing is that I really try to have my things working in tandem. And so I released it right around the time that season 4 of The Shy dropped. Because exactly, as an independent artist, you know, you have to really make sense of your situation. And so how can you have your work really working in tandem? You know, so also on The Shy, you know, I have some tracks where I have music placement. And so there's a couple of episodes in which you'll hear, you know, some of my material. And so it just made sense, like, oh, okay, well, we know that's going to be happening. So how can I also kind of capitalize, you know, and I'm already working on this material. And I dropped, you know, EP3 when season 3 dropped. So it was like, okay, let me just keep it consistent. And exactly.
That's smart. Think smarter, not harder. I know that's right.
That's right.
And, you know, when it comes to the entertainment industry as a whole, who would you consider as some of your inspirations, both in acting and music?
Wow. With music, there's so many people, you know, as I mentioned before, you know, Phyllis Hyman, you know, Missy Elliott, Timberland, the Migos, you know, Queen Latifah, Hove, Nas, Kehlani. Like, I mean, there's just, I'm so interested in a lot of different types of music. You know, I love classical music, you know, so I listen to a lot of different things and I allow it to motivate me and inspire me. And then what comes out, comes out. You know, I love the Baby. I love, you know, Lil Durk. Like, it's just a lot of cats that I tune into, and you know, and so, yeah.
Well-rounded mix right there.
Yeah, you got to keep it versatile, I believe, in the things that you do. And with my music, I feel like it comes out, you know, because I am motivated by so many things. You know, T-Pain, you know, on one of the tracks, you know, I was like, I'm gonna go in with these auto tunes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can sing a little something, you know. But I was playing and I was being playful. And I feel like that's a lot of times when you get the best material is when you're being very open and kind of like childlike and really playful. You know, I play for a living, honestly, you know, so yeah.
I love that. And, you know, we have to tap into your role as an actress as well. And yeah. I feel like it's only right that we talk about The Shy, because that is currently what is happening. So can you tell us about your role as Dre?
Definitely. So yeah, I play the character Dre. I am the new wife to the character Nina, played by Tyler Abercrombie. And Nina is the mother of Keisha and Kevin. So she's raising these, you know, 2 young Black teenage kids. Her and Dre end up meeting, and Dre is introduced in season 3. So Dre's a bachelorette. She don't know nothing about no damn kids. She's just like out here living life, getting money, you know, and falls in love with this woman. You know, she takes on the responsibility, and season 3 goes crazy. It's like they literally leave the wedding, come home, they're about to go, you know, to have their honeymoon, and then boom, Keisha, you know, ends up being abducted, and then there's this whole like crazy train of events that happen. So Dre is a very supportive partner. There's a lot of mystery surrounding Dre's character because we don't know everything about her in terms of like where we know she's from South Side of Chicago, but we don't know specifically, you know, like what block she grew up on, or like, you know, what was her family dynamic growing up? Did she have siblings? Did she have a good relationship with her parents? You know, did she go to Catholic school? It's like, you know, little stuff like that. So not that the audience has to know all of those little details, but things are starting to reveal themselves, in terms of, who she is. And one of those things that we see is that she's extremely loyal.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest things in this season so far, in season 4, is that she's keeping a secret from, a very dear friend who has cancer.
Mm.
She's struggling with cancer. And so Dre has been asked not to say anything because Dre's wife, as I mentioned, is the mother of Keisha and Kevin. And Keisha, who is now my stepdaughter, is very close friends with Emmett, who is my best friend's son. And so she basically is like, I don't want you to tell your wife because your wife has a big mouth and she's probably gonna she says it in one of the scenes, is like, and I'm like, I know she has a big mouth, but she probably would only want to tell the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And then the response is right, and then Keisha would probably tell Emmett.
Yeah. And
then it would get back to her. So she stays very loyal. And then unfortunately, I don't want to give too much away. I don't know how caught up, people are, but
right, we don't want to be getting punched in the face from people like, I see that part. Yeah.
Right. I mean, all I'll say is sometimes when you're not completely honest with your partner, for whatever reason, sometimes folks don't make the best decisions. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. I'll make sure y'all go back to this clip to know what she was referring to then, all right? And you already talked about how Dre is pretty much a mystery, where there's so much that can be evolved with Dre's character. How would you say that Dre has evolved as a character from season 3 into season 4?
Well, one of the biggest things is that you start to see her working in her occupation. So you see her in her profession. And you don't see that in all. One of the biggest things about her being so mysterious is like, what does she do? Like, what's her job? We never see her go to work. She's always counting money and wearing all this gold and so people didn't know what Dre was into. And so it's revealed towards the end of season 3 that she's some type of a counselor, some type of a therapist. And then we get an opportunity to see her in that particular, kind of like setting in season 4, which is really, it was really cool to play that, because it just gives you another intention in addition to all the other intentions that you're playing. And you want to have purpose. You don't want to just be on the show, you know what I mean? It's like, what am I doing here? So that in that way, it's great, because you see, again, with her being kind of laid back and down to earth, she's very, like, tries to deal with things in a very therapeutic way. Even with the birth of Keisha, she was really trying to, support the idea of having a home birth, having a natural birth. Like, we can do this, as a family, as a village, like we can, make this happen. And if you've gotten a chance to see that episode, or, any viewers tuning in, it's like very beautiful, very spiritual. And I was so happy to be a part of that, and to just have, even though it was a play experience, it was still a gorgeous experience. So yeah, I would say in those two ways, that's kind of like, she's shifting more into, I think, understanding motherhood, because she's never been a mom.
And that's the thing, when you're that in tune with your character and in the role in that moment, it can feel real.
It can feel real, and it felt real, the laughs, the tears, everything that happened when we were on set, it was all real. So we're playing under misbelief, like we're making reality out of, fake situations. We're modern day storytellers, we're griots. So it's like, yeah, somebody wrote this script, but we brought it to life. We're no longer acting. We're just living in the moment, and so, yeah, we're performing under imaginary circumstances. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, I was like,
I'm like, I don't want to throw out the wrong words. I'm gonna just let
right. That's how your brain works. It's like I got 1,000 scripts in my head, so but yeah, so there we go.
Now, I want you to walk us through the process leading up to you receiving the role of Dre. What was the audition process like? How long did it take? Was there anything that you had to do to prep for the audition? at all?
Yeah. You know, it's so funny you're asking me all these Dre questions because in my audition, one of the shirts that I had on for my initial audition tape was this shirt right here.
Hey.
And I'll tell you why. So one of the reasons why is because they had described her as being really, really chill, kind of like what was the exact description? They said a soft stud. And so I'm like, okay, you know, I feel like I can identify with that. Let me try to figure out the best way. So my hair was like pulled back, you know, I had just gotten my braids done, but I didn't really know what they were looking for. So you just give them what you got, you know? So I just got my hair freshly braided. I'm like, you know what? I'll wear this shirt and hopefully it'll look like a nice in between, you know what I mean? Just in terms of like, not too feminine, not too masculine, just like, because they said soft stud. So I'm like, okay. So the process was that I had 4 different scenes and it was maybe like about 15 pages of material. Oh. And yeah, initially I had to put myself on tape, you know, kind of like with a blue wall like this. And that was sent to casting. After casting revealed it, then I got a call back and they brought me into the room to basically do my sides with, you know, the casting agency. Carmen Cuba, really dope casting office. And so she had actually hired me for another job. So she was somewhat familiar with my work, but still, you know, kind of new. Yeah. And new to me. Yeah. So after that, it was like, you know, just having to go over the sides repeatedly. They're really trying to just, you know, hone in on you, get an idea for who you are as a person. And I guess I was believable enough because I ended up booking it.
Okay.
Really? And then like 2 weeks later, I was on a plane headed to Chicago. And then initially I was only supposed to be in like maybe 5 episodes, but the character kept growing. They continued to give me opportunities. And here we are now, season 4, episode 7 is dropping this coming Sunday. So, you know.
That's right. Keep Dre. And with you coming into season 3, at that point, the show already had a brand, a staple, the cast already formed a family type of vibe. How has your experience been working with such an amazing cast? How did you get yourself included in, you know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah, no, 100%. You know, for me, the shift was, it was kind of like this. So as you said, they already had 2 seasons prior and they were getting, you know, attention and so on and so forth. There were some things that happened. And so there were some cast members that were changed out, you know, the storyline shifted. Yeah. So I came in like at a perfect time, myself and about 6 other characters who were introduced, because it was like, okay, we're flipping this. Now this is about these individuals, you know, and the people who we've already seen 100%. And then now these other individuals that we're bringing into the story who are somehow connected in all of their lives. So it was a train that was already going. I had to jump on. I had to have an ensemble mentality. I had to be very open. I had to be generous. I had to be patient. And it worked out, you know, because I've been able to establish and maintain, you know, really good bonds with a lot of the cast members. And so that has been great. And most importantly, the ones who I interact with the most, who are, like I said, Nina, who is played by Tyler, and then Kevin, who played by Alex Hibbert, and then Keisha, played by Burgundy. You know, so we really have like our little family, you know, and just shout out to them because there was a previous wife in seasons 1 and season 2. But apparently the audiences were a little confused about the relationship between Nina and this other young lady. Like, I guess it wasn't so clear. So, girl, they started season 3 off with a wedding. Okay, to be very clear, this is the new boo, aka the new wife. Okay, ring on the finger and everything, you know. So, yeah.
Now, obviously, throughout your journey, I'm sure there has been plenty of obstacles that you faced to reach this moment. What would you say is one obstacle that you have faced, and how were you able to overcome that?
Yeah, you're right. There have been many. I say in particular in terms of being boxed in.
You mean
One of the things that,
typecasted?
yeah, and then also just friends, family, people
Mm,
boxing you in. You know, we have a tendency to put a lid on other people's um progress, other people's standards. You know, it's like, well, this is what I see for you. Yeah, but I see beyond that. You know, so you can't put a cap on what my abilities are or what my progression will be, you know.
exactly.
So I would say, in terms of people trying to put you in a box or label you, I say, man, get away from those labels. You know, that's my thing, because I feel like people a lot of times label themselves because they don't know how to just be. They have to be in some kind of category in order to exist. And I
Mhm.
don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. I mean, you see me, you know, I'm a woman, you know, you can say black, brown, African American, whatever. You know, some people, I get in a car sometimes, the driver be from Nigeria. He said, where are you from? You know what I mean? Like, you know, you just, I played a Jamaican woman before. Like, you might not necessarily know, you know, until you have a conversation with me and you find out more about me. So that's the thing for me, is not boxing myself, not labeling myself. And then I think when I'm building relationships with people, they have to back off of that. And they have to say, wow, you know, you're just cool, or you're just you, or let me just take you in for who you are, you know, and not try to say, oh, well, she's this, and let me just try to describe her as Bob. It's like, come on, man, get rid of those labels, you know, and put your own stamp. That's the only thing that I would add to it. Put your own stamp, you know, on yourself. So yeah.
Yes, we got to flip to something a little brighter, obviously. So, what would you say is the most fulfilling thing about being in the music and the entertainment industry? What do you love so much about this journey?
So speaking of stamps, you know, being able to put my own stamp out here in the world and put this my stamp on my brand, like being able to present myself the way that I want to present myself. Like I said, grew up, you know, in Philadelphia, grew up in the hood. Boom. Next thing you know, I'm getting a master's degree from an Ivy League institution. That's the stamp that I want to put. You know, I didn't have to go that route. I could have said, you know what, I could have stopped there, get my BFA and say, you know what, that's enough for me. I could have stopped at high school and say that's enough for me. But I was focused on achieving more so that ultimately I would have more to offer.
Yes.
You feel me? So I put my stamp on it, sis. I'm doing things the way I want to do it. I'm an independent artist. I'm able to kind of float and maneuver the way that I want to, specifically as it pertains to the music. The acting is a little bit more restricted, because if I'm doing a script that I did not write, you know, then I have to, you know, be mindful of what those words are, you know, that have been written. But I also can create my own work.
Yep. Especially
so
now, is
it's
there anything
options out here.
is there anything new that you learned about yourself as your career begins to grow?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, things like this, you know, interviews, I'm becoming more and more comfortable, you know, with them. My listening, it's imperative in acting to listen, to talk and listen, but really receive what you're being given so that you can, you know, deliver. And so just, you know, chopping it up with you, just trying to just be open and not having any kind of like preconceived ideas of what this is going to be, or damn, what should I wear? I should have wore the other shirt. Or what about my lip gloss? Should I have, you know, letting all that go and just saying, you know what, show up, be your best self, have a chill conversation, and hopefully the people will get what they need to get from it. So yeah, as you rise, there are more and more opportunities for you to talk about yourself, where you've come from, the projects you're working on. So, you know, you just want to make sure that you're trying to be as graceful as possible, speak as eloquently as possible so that you're clear. You know, we stumble, we're going to make mistakes, but hey, that just shows more and more that I'm a human being.
Right.
You feel me?
We all human. Now,
That's it.
You've already been dropping gems throughout this entire interview. So
I'm like this. I'm like this.
like Salt Bay.
You get a gem. You get a gem. You get no.
What kind of advice would you like to give to up and coming, aspiring actors, actresses, lyricists? What would you like to tell them out there?
Believe in yourself. And when you say you want to do things, be honest with yourself about the things you want to do, and also work towards pursuing them. Nobody is going to accomplish anything for you. You have to accomplish it for you. And you're only going to regret the things that you didn't attempt to do.
Mm.
You feel me?
Yeah.
So I never wanted to be the kind of person to be like, dang, I should have, the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and set goals for yourself. Set goals for yourself, whether they're small goals. A small goal could be something like make sure you floss, twice a day. It's real, because like people are always like, oh, you smile, and I'm like, thank you. But part of it is I take care of my teeth. It's little things like that, and you have to. That's how you maintain and understand discipline. Mm-hmm. By setting small goals. So you're an educated, individual. So if you say, I want to go to school. Okay, cool. At the end of the day, if the goal is to get your degree, or the goal is to get, whatever, your certificate, then work towards getting that. Don't be a bum about classwork and BS your way through. It's like, no, go get that paper so you can go get the paper. You feel me?
Slow feet don't eat.
Yeah, slow feet don't eat. So keep it real with yourself. Like, don't set all of these, crazy ideas and, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this and I want to be an entrepreneur. But then you don't do anything to work towards that ultimate goal. Mm-hmm. So we have to have an intention. We have to have an objective. And then we got to have tactics. You feel me? How are we going to get the thing that we want?
Exactly.
So acting, it's taught me a lot about the business, like the actual process of acting has taught me a lot about how to go after the things that I want. And lastly, I will say, speak it into existence.
That is my motto.
That's it. I'm out. I'm done. I'm done.
I swear to God, I say that every single episode.
Shout out to Dre. Shout out to the guy. I'm kidding.
Girl, you're spoken to my heart. As soon as you say, no one gets it.
No, it's real.
When I talk to our guests, because obviously on our show we have a lot of independent artists, young entrepreneurs who are local to Philly. So I always ask them, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And they're like, well, I don't know. I say, speak it into existence.
Speak it into existence. And it could be anything. It could be, I want to be a homeowner. It could be, I want to be in a a quality relationship in which infidelity is not a part of it. I want to be a parent. I want to be a spouse. I want, it could be anything.
Yeah, I'm big manifesting.
Right. But you got to manifest it. You got to speak it into existence. And I had a teacher actually at Yale. One day we were in class and she was just like, like everything you say, it happens. Mm-hmm. And I was and I'm always like, it's nothing but the grace of God, but in addition to that, I'm taking in and understanding the power that I have. Exactly. And the power that we all have is to speak it into existence. If you believe it, you can achieve it. Like hearing that growing up was like, that's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Some white man came, but no, it's really, really real. It's like, if you believe it, you can achieve it, because now your mind is going to switch on to, how do I get this done? Mm-hmm. And then how do I go about it? It's like you sending me reminders for this interview. I'm like, baby girl is on it. I'm over here, I'm over here checking both of my phones. Like, okay, okay, bam, So
I try to keep it all professional, coordinated. I'm so OCD. My husband be like, "You always working?" I said, "I got to stay on top of it."
You got to. Now you got to take them breaks.
Oh no, I take breaks now. I take them breaks.
You got to take the breaks, because that's one thing that we do, especially as Black women. We go when we go when we go when we go, and then when you burn out, folks are like, "Damn, what's wrong with her?" It's like she needs a break. That's what it is.
I'm nap queen. I'm good for a nap. I take my
Right,
minute.
like she needs a break, but that's the thing, you know. A lot of times I'm always uplifting Black women in particular because we do it all. You know, we're out here, we're going to school. You know, folks are raising babies. They're doing it independently without a spouse, holding down full-time jobs. You know, still having to be elegant and classy, and then they still want you to have an hourglass shape and do all this other crazy. It's like, can I live?
Right?
Can I live? You know, so
For me.
yeah, we don't get the support, you know, we don't get the same type of pay. We don't get the, you know, women are just at the bottom of the totem pole, and especially Black women, you know, it's like you're hoping for the brothers that they're rooting for you because we're always rooting for them.
Yeah.
You know, but the same kind of support is not always reciprocated. And I think like we can do better. You know, one of the reasons why I started writing rap lyrics is because I wasn't crazy about what I was hearing. And so I started to write what I wasn't hearing. You feel me?
Yep.
I'm like, I'm not hearing no uplifting. I'm hearing, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We could turn up. And I think there's a time and a place and everything. I also feel like we can have that in the material and have balance and not have to degrade, you know, your fellow man or degrade, you know what I'm saying, your fellow sis. Because it's like, we know she's bad, but like, how many times she got to be a bad bitch? It's like, can you call her anything else? Anything else. We're creative. So we can switch it up and create some different shit. It's like a thought. It's like, who came up with that? You know?
And that word. That don't even make sense in a sentence though.
But we're creative like that. So I'm saying, why don't we create in a way that's gonna uplift one another? You know what I mean? Especially our people, because white folks do it for white folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And then they try to emulate us, and then they calling our women bitches, and so you know what I mean? And like, you know, hearing a white boy say nigga on the train is like,
right, you gotta give a sign like, hold up. Right.
But it's become more and more, you know, acceptable because we throw the word around. And so it's one thing if it's like, you know, you in the home with your people, or, you know, whatever. But like when we start doing it with them, they think the shit is okay and cool. And it's like, oh, well, you know, my Black friends, you know, they say it all the time.
Like, you say it in the songs, like, nah.
Right. And it's like, y'all still got to respect the boundaries. But, you know, it is what it is. But I'm just saying, I was trying to create material, like I said, that I wasn't hearing and just be a different voice because we have all of these other voices. But let's throw a different voice in the mix, you know, that still is going to be street, still going to be edgy, but going to hit you with that little educational sauce. It's going to hit you with that balance. It's going to hit you with, look, I got it. You know what I mean? It's nothing, you know, like, but at the same time, what else can we bring to the table? You know, like you said, versatility, variety, like we need it.
We do. I could dig it. You know, we talked about you doing you already released your new EP, the fourth quarter. We talked about the new season 4 of The Shy with you as Dre. So can you tell listeners what else is next for Robyn Hood, Miriam A, Hyman, at least whatever you can disclose? What else can we expect to see and hear from you?
I appreciate you saying that because, you know, they got the sound of NDA when they kick it with me, baby. But yeah,
I've been around the block.
You already know. So yeah, definitely just heavily promoting the EP right now. I want to give the music the time that it takes. You know, you don't want to just drop a project and like boom, you're on to the next thing. So throughout the summer, I have some performances coming up, you know, like we just mentioned, the August 27th show. You know, I have a video that's coming off of the EP that's about to be released for my track Penthouse. So we're looking forward to releasing that, you know, so the public can tune in and then banging out the rest of this season. You know, The Shy runs until August the 1st. So, you know, we'll be with folks, you know, pretty much, you know, throughout the summer and everything. And it'll be just great to see how that unfolds and then to see, you know, where we go next. And then I have some other things in the mix, but, you know, I can't say just yet, but
eat for that then.
Your girl is working.
Well, for everybody who does want to stay in tune with everything that you do have coming up that you can't tell us yet, how can our listeners stay up to date with everything that is going on in your world?
Yeah, definitely on Instagram as well as Twitter. You know, my Instagram is at Robyn Hood Music, and that's Robyn with a Y. And also on Twitter, I have Miriam A Hyman as well. So, you know, Instagram, Twitter, hit me up. You know what I mean? Slide in the DMs. What's good? No, don't slide in my DMs.
I said they're gonna blow you up. You sure?
Right. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you said," you know. I'm saying though, like, why can't we be in your DM? No, it's crazy. The DMs be jumping. I'm like, what the hell, you know? People
Man,
be splashing,
you got girl.
splashing in there. It's like a whole pool party. I had to get another phone. You know, I was like,
got that trap phone on the side.
you already know. Come on, you know Philly. You know how we get down. Yeah, definitely Instagram, Twitter. You know, check out the Shy, check out the music. You know, I'm out here. So come on, rock with me.
Hey, and you know, before we let you go, I need to know, do you have any final words or shout outs for our listeners?
Listen, sis, shout out to you. You know, you're glowing. I salute you. I'm proud of you. I love to see what you're doing. It's a huge motivational force for myself. And I'm just thankful, you know, for you, and to be able to have the opportunity to talk about the music, talk about the work that I'm doing, because it's all about sharing, you know. So thank you for sharing your platform with me. And yeah, I just appreciate you.
I appreciate you. You were so responsive. Yes, family. But you know, before we let Miriam A. Hyman, aka Robyn Hood, go, we have to remind all of our listeners to make sure you tune into All the Above. We are available on all streaming platforms. We are on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. The list goes on, so you have no excuse not to tune in.
That's right.
Listen to all episodes, including the one that we have here with Miriam A. Hyman, aka Robyn Hood. And we are also on social media platforms. We are on Instagram and we are on Twitter at _all of the above one. That is where you guys can see all the newest content, where we will show clips of today's interview, as well as our local business spotlight interviews, where we go around Philadelphia and interview local business owners. And if you guys would like to be a guest on our show, we are going on a hiatus shortly because, as you all know, I am expecting a baby shortly. So still put those inquiries in, because we will be getting back to you guys in early 2022. Again, Miriam, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sis. I appreciate you.
I know you guys are gonna have to go back. Miriam been dropping gems this whole time. You're gonna have to rewind and be like, wait, hold up, what'd she say? I'm gonna use that KIM. So if you see me put that in the caption, just know.
Hey, you already know. You already know. And you know what I'm saying? Again, you know, just take care of yourself. You know, I wish you the best. I wish you a nice, healthy pregnancy, you know, remainder, you know, of your pregnancy and birth and all that good stuff. So you already know the love is here. The support is here. Holla at me.
Hey, thank you so much. I'm your girl, Angel Marie from All the Above, and we will see you guys next time.
Deuces.
Wednesdays at 7, Angel Marie and Kevin playing the illest records, bringing us back together. Philly is all season, storming through any weather, leaving the track bleeding when we pull it together. We applying my pressure. I am your new professor, teaching in some semester.